Rain hammered the windshield like a warning he refused to hear. Tyler gripped the steering wheel of his old pickup, knuckles pale against the cracked leather, his heart pounding with a mix of nerves and defiance. Tonight wasn't just dinner, it was Judgment Day. He was about to meet the parents of the woman he loved, parents who lived in a world of crystal chandeliers and country club smiles, a world where grease-stained hands like his didn't belong. Tyler had replayed the scene 100 times in his head, shaking hands with Mr. and Mrs. Davenport, offering his firmest handshake and warmest smile, proving with every word that love mattered more than a bank account. But the truth was, he was terrified. He'd heard the stories. Caroline's parents were old money silk suits, polished silver, and a last name that could open doors Tyler had never even been invited to knock on. And he was just a broken bar mechanic. A man who spent his days bent over engines and his nights saving every spare dollar to build a small business of his own. Still, Caroline loved him. That thought was his anchor as he sped down the rain-slicked road. She had promised she didn't care what her parents thought, but Tyler knew tonight could change everything. That's when he saw Ida, a battered sedan stalled on the shoulder, hazard lights blinking weakly through the downpour. An elderly woman stood beside it, wrapped in a thin coat, rain soaking her silver hair. Most people would have driven past, but Tyler didn't hesitate. He pulled over, splashing through puddles as he jogged toward her. "Ma'am, you okay?" he called, his voice nearly drowned by the storm. The woman turned, relief softening her sharp features. "My car just died. I can't get anyone to stop." Tyler popped the hood and got to work. The engine was flooded and the battery nearly dead. He pulled tools from his truck, ignoring the rain soaking through his shirt. His hands worked quickly, efficiently, a dance he knew by heart. 20 minutes later, the engine sputtered back to life. The woman clasped his hands in gratitude. "You're an angel," she said. "I don't know how to thank you." "No thanks needed," Tyler replied with a crooked smile. "Just glad I could help." She offered him money, but he refused. By the time he returned to his truck, he was drenched, his jeans streaked with grease, and he was already an hour late for dinner. He considered calling Carolyn, but his phone was dead. He took a deep breath and started driving. The Davenport estate loomed like something out of a magazine, white stone pillars, glowing windows, and a driveway aligned with perfectly trimmed hedges. Tyler's truck looked painfully out of place as he parked beside a fleet of luxury cars. He caught his reflection in the side mirror and winced. His hair was damp, his shirt clung to him, and black smudges stained his hands and face. Inside, the air smelled of polished wood and expensive perfume. Caroline met him at the door, her eyes widening with a mix of relief and concern. "Tyler. What happened?" "A broken bar helped someone on the way. Car trouble," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. Before she could respond, a deep voice cut through the room. "You're an hour late." Mr. Davenport stood at the foot of the grand staircase, his tailored suit sharp against the warm glow of the chandelier. His wife appeared beside him, lips pressed in a tight, disapproving line. "Look at you," Mrs. Davenport said, eyes flicking over his soaked clothes and grease-streaked face. "This is how you come to meet us?" Caroline stepped forward. "It wasn't his fault." Mr. Davenport raised a hand. "Carolyn, enough. We tried to give this young man a chance, but clearly he doesn't respect our time or our home." The sting of their judgment hit Tyler like a punch. He wanted to explain, but the words caught in his throat. What good would it do? They already decided who he was, a nobody. "Maybe this was a mistake," Mr. Davenport said coldly. "Carolyn, show him out." Carolyn's eyes burned with unshed tears. Tyler's chest tightened. He had come here to prove himself, and now he stood on the edge of being thrown out before he'd even had a chance. That's when the sound of tires crunching on gravel broke the tense silence. All heads turned toward the front door as it swung open. An elderly woman stepped inside, her silver hair damp from the rain. Tyler blinked in disbelief. It was the woman from the roadside. "Mother?" Mrs. Davenport gasped, hurrying forward. "Mother?" Tyler's mind reeled. The woman, and now clearly the Davenport family matriarch, shook off her coat and fixed her daughter with a sharp, commanding gaze. "Eleanor, is this how you treat guests? I was delayed myself, but for good reason. This young man," as she pointed to Tyler, "is the reason I'm standing here safe and dry. My car broke down, and while dozens of your so-called A gentlemen sped past, he stopped. In the rain. He fixed my car without asking for a dime." Mr. Davenport's stern mask faltered. Mrs. Davenport paled. The matriarch turned to Tyler, her eyes warm but piercing. "Son, what's your name?" "Tyler," he said, still stunned. "Well, Tyler," she said with a small smile, "you're the kind of man I like to see in this family. Hardworking. Kind. The sort who does the right thing when no one's watching." The room fell silent. Caroline squeezed Tyler's hand, pride shining in her eyes. Mrs. Davenport cleared her throat. "Mother, Enough," the matriarch said sharply. "If you cannot see the worth of a man like this, then perhaps it's time you rethink your values." Mr. Davenport swallowed hard and finally extended a hand. "Tyler Brokenbar, I misjudged you. Forgive me." Tyler hesitated, then shook his hand, the grease on his palms leaving a faint mark on the man's pristine cuff. For once, he didn't apologize. Dinner that night felt different. The icy tension had melted into something warmer, more human. The matriarch guided the conversation, drawing Tyler out, asking about his work and dreams. He spoke of his small garage, of saving to open his own shop, of how he believed honest work was the backbone of any good life. By the end of the evening, even the Davenports were smiling genuinely, this time. Caroline's mother surprised him by offering dessert with a softer tone, while her father asked if he could see the garage sometime. As Tyler and Caroline left, the matriarch walked them to the door. She placed a firm hand on Tyler's shoulder. "Never let anyone make you feel small for honest work," she said. "Character is wealth that can't be bought." Tyler nodded, the weight of her words sinking deep. Inspiring message? That night, as Tyler drove away with Caroline's hand in his, he realized something powerful. True worth isn't measured by money or titles, but by integrity, kindness, and the courage to stay true to who you are even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. And sometimes, the universe has a way of revealing the truth, the broken bar, one broken down car at a time.